Every builder I talk to says the same thing. My leads are bad. But in 9 out of 10 cases, the leads aren't the problem. And in this video, I'm going to show you how to figure out whether you actually have a lead problem or if you have a conversion problem. Before you blame Facebook, Google, or your marketing agency for bad leads, you need to watch this video because the real reason you're not converting probably has nothing to do with where the leads are actually coming from, and more so the way you're handling these leads. Most builders spend money on leads and are losing the jobs not because the leads are bad, but because of what actually happens after the lead comes in. Here's how to find out what it is that's killing your results. Picture this. A builder's running Facebook ads, he's getting leads, maybe 20 or 30 a month, but when he looks at his jobs booked, barely anything is closing, okay? And his conclusion, Facebook leads are rubbish. You know, these leads coming from social media are just trash. These people aren't serious, or, they're all trying to save money, or they're all cheap, or there's always some type of excuse. So he then goes, pauses the ads and says, okay, let's go and try Google. Tries Google, same results. Tries a different agency, same result again. I had a conversation with a client the other day and I said, one of two things is going to happen here. You're either going to lose faith in the process or you're going to lose faith in the people doing it. You're either going to think we can't do it for you or you're going to think the system doesn't work. Most people don't ever actually take accountability for this. He never actually checked the data. How fast was he following up? What was his response rate? What did his quote look like compared to the competitor quotes that other people were getting? Because guess what happens when someone finds you on Google? They probably will get another quote. That's part of the game. And then we did a deep dive into his business and what we found with this specific individual, and you see he didn't have a lead problem. He had 3 other problems and he kept paying to fix the wrong one. So I'm going to share with you some of the stuff that we find people tend to do poorly. And I think if you focus on fixing one of these things that I share with you today, you might actually fix your lead problem. I'm going to start with the biggest and the baddest. Almost every single person I talk to has a slow follow-up speed. Almost every single one does not call their leads quick enough. Leads go cold almost instantly. You need to call your leads within not hours, not days, minutes of them submitting a form. Your conversion rate will increase significantly. Most people call their leads 3 days later and they're like, I called them in the same week. And it's like, that's not quick enough. And just to show you how true this is, go and pull your last, 10, 20, 30 leads for each one, write them down individually on a spreadsheet. How long did it take for you or your team to actually get in touch with this individual? And then what was the actual show rate? Did they answer? Did they not? If your average response time is over an hour, this is without a doubt your problem. This is a huge problem. I cannot tell you the amount of people we've fixed just this alone, and they've been able to have some success with the leads that they weren't able to before. The data shows that responding within 5 minutes makes you 21 times more likely to qualify a lead than if you wait 30 minutes. And most of you are not even doing it within 30 minutes. There's a great story that Alex Formosi shares about someone he knows who hired someone just to call people as soon as the lead came through. That was their one job. Lead comes through, make the call. Lead comes through, make the call. Lead comes through, make the call. What we do when we find this as the issue with our clients is we actually set up a direct SMS that goes straight to their phone, meaning the lead comes through and you get a text and then your phone is telling you, hey, there's a lead, call them right now. And then you go and you call that lead and all of a sudden you're like, hey, the amount of times I've had this conversation, they're like, the lead quality is better. And I'm like, no, you're calling them faster. The quality of what's changed here is your speed to lead, right? The lead quality is exactly the same. We're using the same ads on the same platform with the same ad spend targeting the same area with the same offer. Nothing's changed except how fast you're calling them. And they instantly feel like there's an increase in the quality of leads. The data also shows that 78% of buyers choose the first company that responds. Think about that. Regardless of price, the stats show that 78% of buyers choose the first company that responds. Teams that respond within a minute see up to a 391% increase in conversions. And then your competitor calls them 3 days later when you've already pitched and done everything and they're like, whoa, you guys are way behind. The average business takes 42 to 47 hours to respond to a lead. If you're calling same day, you're already ahead of most competitors. But if you're calling within minutes, you're a mile ahead. You will not understand how powerful this is until you do it. Okay, that's the honest truth. The second element here we usually check and find with people is there's usually a drop off somewhere, right? And if we look at the overall process, and I'll explain a client that we worked with and did this with, we found after measuring everything very closely, and if you're not tracking everything you're doing from this element, you need to start tracking it. Yes, it's a job, promise you well worth it. You can get dashboards built, you can get tracking systems set up, but you need to be tracking every step of the process. So it's like, okay, cool. People see our ad. And then the next step is they inquire. And then the next step is for how many inquiries do we get people that actually answer? And then of that, how many people take the next step and the next step and the next step? And you need to track every single one. Because I promise you, when you start to do this, you will see where the fall off is. We did this with the client and we found that after fixing their speed to lead, they still weren't getting conversions. And we found that every single lead had dropped off after the site visit. So we started looking at what they did on the site visit and started, applying scripts to it and understanding what we're doing and looking at jobs that we'd won previously and said, okay, cool. What did we do here? How do we take what we did here and start to bring it into what we're doing now so that we can apply the same strategy? Because when you do the same thing, it increases the likelihood that you get the same result. Understanding where the drop-off was the fix, in the sense of, okay, cool, we now understood it was happening at site visits. We understood that when the person went on site and they were doing everything, whilst everything was going okay, they were getting ghosted after that. So we fixed what they were doing in that part of the process, and guess what happened? They started winning jobs. Human nature to blame everything else. They don't want to pay. It's the area. It's the lead quality. These people don't want to. They're just ghosting us. They're wasting our time. We're getting price checked. I've heard it all. The reality is you need to find a way to get the leads to work for you. You need to stop trying to blame the quality of the leads and you need to start saying, what do I need to do to make this work? And then the last one's actually looking at where you get your jobs from. The first thing we do when we have someone who wants to get more leads, we look at what they're doing that's working. All right. So you can pull your actual win rates. So take the last 10 jobs you won and say, okay, cool. Let's list them down and say, where did these jobs come from? Right? Was it referrals? Was it Google? Was it Facebook? Was it any other social platforms? Was it word of mouth? Was it through my network? Was it someone that I knew personally? A referral is the hottest type of lead you can get. They usually come when they're ready to go and they come from a trusted source. Okay, so your referrals should be closing at the highest. And then as you get onto colder and colder sources of platform, the close rate should drop. Okay, that's normal. But if your referrals are closing at say 40%, and then Google is closing at 25%, and then Facebook's closing at 3%, and your speed and follow-up process is identical across all of them, that's your evidence that your lead source is the problem, the way you're handling the Facebook leads. And then one thing that we've done when we're here with clients that's worked really well is swap the person who takes the call. And I get it, not everyone can do this, not everyone has someone else who can take calls, but usually if you've got a business partner or someone trusted in your business, you can do this. So before you go blame the leads, etc., or blame the lead source or say, we're doing okay from Google, but Facebook doesn't work, it's get someone else to take the call. We've done this many times, and sometimes just changing the person who takes the call can be the most significant change you can make in the whole business. We all instantly assume that we're the best person to sell, and most of the time you are, but sometimes you're not. You'd be amazed at how often lead quality improves overnight just by changing who gets on the phone. And you're like, these leads are pretty good. Now actually we're having good conversations. It's the right type of client. They're in the right area. They have the right budget. And now they're moving forward. Whereas before they weren't, because people connect with different people. I'm not saying you are the problem. You might be, but I'm not saying you are. I don't even know who you are watching this. But to say, okay, cool. What's everything that's involved in this? And if we change each element, something has to change, right? Something has to give. If we call faster, we got to see how that goes. If we're tracking every step of the process, we're going to see how that goes. If we change who's taking the call, we're going to see how that goes. And if you can track every step of the process, call your leads as quickly as possible, check how you're taking the call, and if possible, have someone else take the call, I promise you, for most people, you'll probably find you no longer have a lead problem. Most builders who think they have a lead problem actually have a conversion problem. Okay, so before you switch platforms or fire your agency or go and try a new lead source or start doing dances for TikTok, run this 3-step audit. Check your response speed, check where the leads are falling off, and then check what your phone call process is like and see if you can get someone else to have a crack. Because more often than not, doing one of these 3 things has changed the results for our clients. And if you want help running this audit on your own lead data, or you want us to look at your numbers and tell you exactly where the problem might be, drop a comment below, or I'll put a link somewhere where you can book a call. We do this for construction businesses almost daily. If you like this video and you want to learn more about how you can start to market for your business, we've got a school group. It's 100% free. Links in the description. We share videos like this and more in-depth videos about how to run ads, how to generate leads, how to create content, and how to build a brand for your business. If you've liked this, you'll like that. Links in the description. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next one.